Hello again, and here we are. The Mahl stick is stuck. The copper end piece that I've done, I'm very happy with it. That'll never move now, and I'm pleased about it. So the next thing I want to do is to just give it a little polish. There we are. I'm a big fan of this stuff. It used to be called Duragrit when I was young, but not anymore. But it's still pretty much the same. There we have it. In fact, I'll use this one. And it doesn't take very much. I'll just leave that for a few minutes. And we'll use a slightly finer silvo on this. I don't want to give this too much attention because it's got some engraving on it that over time will wear down, so it's worth just being careful. There we are. That's nice and shiny, but I will do it a second time. There. Again, 2 coats. It shouldn't need too much attention, this, over years. It'll be kept in a box and away from the light. There, that's good. Now, There is one thing I'm going to do to this, just to make things easier in the future, and that is to dab a bit of Vaseline on the ends, just a tiny bit on here. And on here. I won't wipe that, I'll put it straight into the nut, so that's nicely coated as well. And likewise this one, so that the nut in the ebony ball that you can see there gets a dose. And there we pretty much have it. Of course, there's one other thing that hasn't arrived yet, and that's the bonnets for the top when I use it as a Mahl stick, but I'm interested to see where it balances. Almost in the centre. There. A lovely thing. And a thing I was talking about, the different dimensions. We know 1D, 2D, 3D. The fourth dimension is history, and you've seen there's time. You've seen the chronology of the development of this thing, and this isn't even the piece of artwork that I'm working on. This is just a tool to make it. So time is the fourth dimension, and there are two other dimensions, a fifth and a sixth, and those are, first of all, the dimension of imagination. This thing did not exist until I decided to make it exist, and so the dimension of imagination is present there. I thought of it first, then I did it, and so of course if you've got that dimension, the sixth dimension is reality, and here we are, here we have it. The thing that I thought of, the thing that has developed over time. There is a drawing of, I'll show you that a different time, of how I wanted it to be, and finally the reality of the thing itself, which is all I wanted it to be. So I'm very happy with that, and one of the things that I tend to talk about is the fact that the first time you do something, let me give you an example. It's okay, it might turn out alright, you might get a bit of beginner's luck, you'll get something serviceable if you go about it properly and you plan it and you prepare, but the first time you do something is never as good as the 10th. In this case, I think it must be the 50th time that I've gone about this process, and each time I've developed, and each time it's got a little bit better. And if I were to carry on making these, I'm sure I would find even more tweaks that I could make to make it better. But as it stands, very happy with that. So I'll leave that alone for just a moment. And here is an earlier one, a walnut one. And I've said to you that bare wood, it's lovely, it's nice, but it's not as nice to the touch as it would be were it to be given some shellac. And as with the first, with the ebony, trying to find a nice soft brush to do this with. I think that one might do it. But I'm absolutely sure this one will. So we begin with a thin coat or two, and before we do, we just check it, make sure there are no marks on there that we don't want. We give it a wipe. Probably time I cleared this worktop. And now watch the walnut transform with just a thin coat of shellac mixed with meths. Can you see the difference? And we're not nearly there. Not nearly there yet. Right, that's 2 coats. Just let that soak in a little bit. Rub it all in. And we'll stow that. And now that will already be dry. I'll just give this brush a little clean. replace anything that's evaporated while I had the top off. It's all pretty much make it up as you go along, but I don't mind that. Now that's had a chance to dry enough to do the usual. So same cloth that we used on the ebony. We'll pour that in and see the difference already. And as with the ebony, every time I walk past this, which is quite frequently, I will give it another wipe down, another coat of shellac. It's marvellous. We love it. But for now, that is as much French polishing as I intend to do, because the next thing, as I'm sure you've guessed, is these paintbrushes are now dry and ready for their second coat. Okay, we start with red. Let's find that piece of red sandpaper, and really I'm only looking for lumps and bumps. This one's quite smooth. And it's time for a second coat. We use the red brush. And we have a second generation red paintbrush. First generation, second. Imagine if we carried on doing this by the time we got to about the 20th. There's some history, some provenance. And so for now, you can see I've got plenty to do, and now it's just the time to do it. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.